Hey guys, Analog Man here for another deck profile, and as you can see from the name of the video, we are revisiting MetalGarurumon X again. My previous build was, let's say, a little bit lacking. That was my initial template for the deck, and it worked okay for a bit of time, but I've been basically trying to create a better version. As you can see, I kind of dipped into red, especially Gaiomon and Wargreymon X, and also Reaper, as you can see from my previous profiles. I ended up kind of like using the essentially the experience from those decks to kind of improve this. And one of the main thing was adding in more memory boosts and kind of keeping certain ratios down to a certain amount. Depending on the deck, especially like Wargreymon X and MetalGarurumon X, it kind of varies because you have to kind of work towards what your main gimmick is. With red, the main thing is to just build a stack as big as possible. Metal Guru does do the exact same thing, but in a different way because once you get to level 4 and you have 3 memory, you should be able to ramp up and just kind of go in, compared to red where you have to kind of wait until you hit level 5 and then push out. So it's like that extra kind of step for it. Reaper is just completely different. And then in the other cases of all the other BT9s, like Alphamon just kind of ramps up once it gets to level 4 or 5 as well. So that's why MetalGarurumon X has been topping a lot because it can go faster than Alpha. I honestly, that's how I feel with why it's topping. But anyway, let's get into the deck profile so I can show you what I've changed so far. Um, we haven't really changed anything with the eggs. We're still keeping it with 4 Sunamons because Sunamon is still a very solid card, giving that plus 1,000. I wish there was a card that gave an extra plus maybe 2,000, but there's not that many Garurumon cards that can do that except for the level 4, so it kind of sucks, but you know, it's how we have to work with. That's all for the babies. For the rookies, we run 4 of the starter deck, the all 4 starter deck Gabumon. This one, of course, gives 1,000, but only at the condition of having 8 or more cards, which kind of sucks. But, you know, that's just how it goes. Then we run 4 of the BT5 Gabumon because, of course, this is our best searcher. It's basically the same exact effect as the Agumon from BT5, except it searches Garuru and Omni instead of Greymon and Omni. But really good searcher, and evolving Gabu X on top, you get basically 6 searches, so not too bad. Then, of course, we run the 4 Gabu X. Gabu X is still really busted. You can just hard play it and it becomes another Gabumon, but you can evolve it on top of Gabumon and get an extra search for another 3 cards, and it gets an X-Antibody option card, which is really nice. That's all the level 3s we run. I was running 2 more of the Gumon, I think from BT2, the one where if you hard play, you get to draw a card. I was running that, but I feel like occasionally you would just brick into multiple Gabumons. And then in this build, sometimes you do not see rookies sometimes until like turn 2 or 3. But that's just how it is sometimes. But yeah, we're running exactly 12. Then for level 4s, we're running 4 of the promo Garurumon. This card is really crucial because giving you that extra draw potentially can help you draw into a Metal Garurumon X. So really solid card. You have to run this at 4. And then another card you run at 4 is 4 Garurumon X's. You want to get this card as soon as possible. Even if you don't get this, you want this so that you can evolve on top and kind of set up your protection. And the fact that it evolves for 0 on top of a Garuru is also really nasty. Then for the last 2 level 4s, we run the Garuru from BT5. This one can evolve on anything with Gabumon in its Digivolution cards for 1 memory instead of 2. So really cool. And of course, its inherent gives plus 1,000 to a Garuru or Omni. Really weird side note about this card is that you cannot evolve this on Gabumon X, as I think I mentioned it before, but yeah, you can't evolve it on this. It has to specify Gabumon, not Gabumon X-Antibody, so you will not get the memory reduction with this on top of this, so you have to have like the Gabumon underneath it before you can do it. But yeah, we're running 10 level 4s, keeping it kind of streamlined a bit. For level 5s, we're also streamlined a little bit, where we run 4 of the promo Garurus. I have these from my participation from last year in 2021 regionals. This one's really cool. You get to unsuspend if you have a Garuru underneath, which you will. Then its inherit gives plus security if you have 8 or more cards. Then you run 4 Garurumon X's, because Garurumon X evolving on top of this helps you kind of wipe the board. In my testing recently, I managed to take down an entire Imperial board of a Patamon, a Chimeramon, a Dragon mode, and a Fighter mode, all with just this and this together in combination, and then swinging to basically evolve into MetalGarurumon X. I basically destroyed the whole board. I deleted, I swung to kill it, I bounced the Patamon, and then I bounced the other 2 Dragon and Fighter modes. So basically, he had 0 board, and I left him at 1 memory. So I basically had the advantage at that point, because if he could not kill my guy, then I basically win it. And even then, I still had a guy in raising, so I was basically safe to swing in. But yeah, that's all the level 5s we run. We run 8. Then, surprisingly, most builds I saw before were running a little bit more of the level 6s, but in my experience, I've actually reduced it down to just the ones that you want to see. So we're only running 4. We're running 1 AA of the MetalGarurumon from EX1 because it reduces its own cost depending on how many cards. You don't want to have too many of this card, honestly. I was running 2 and 3 MetalGarurumon X, and I was already kind of having bricking issues, so I kind of reduced it down to 1. Then we run the 3 MetalGarurumon X's. This card is really busted, lets you bounce the whole board, and I did learn a specific ruling about this card since the last profile for this deck. That was way back when the card first came out. Um, the cool thing is that on your turn, when this unsuspends in your unsuspend phase, you can just bounce something. It specifies your turn once per turn when this Digimon becomes unsuspended. If you have the X-Antibody or MetalGaruru underneath, you basically get to bounce some basically all of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level. So if they have like a bunch of level 4s and that's it, you basically just bounce all of them when you unsuspend. So really powerful. I did not know how that effect worked at first, but I'm glad I know it now because that actually helps wipe the board a little bit better. But yeah, we're only running this and 3 of this, and that's it, because you want to make it so you only see this and then occasionally see this and not only this. So really powerful. But yeah, that's all for the level 6s. For level 7s, we only run 1. Omni Blitz from BT5 as well. Really solid card, helps you finish the game, especially if you have enough memory to swing with this and check all your security. Then you just evolve this, swing once more, and they're dead. Plus, it has protection against deletion and removal at least once, so you can potentially keep this on board for 1 turn and then swing for game the next turn. So really solid. For the rest, it's basically options and tamers. So I actually bumped this up. I'm running 4 memory boosts. Originally, I was only running 2, maybe 3, but running 4 is really crucial because when you brick and you don't see a rookie or you don't see this, you can use this to search it out. I learned this specific tech from playing my Gaomon X, my Gaomon deck and my Greymon X deck. Having 4 memory boosts, honestly, is really nice, and I feel like more decks should honestly do this, especially in this format. This kind of searching power is already busted, but if you add in everything else, you basically get so much search power that you'll never have a time where you have a bad hand. Then we run 3 Hammer Sparks because Alphamon does not really run any option negation. So you basically let them hit in and then you just pass it to your turn. And if you have a tamer like Davis, you can just go in and swing for game immediately. Then you run 3 X-Antibodies, especially because we're running less of the MetalGarurumon. Having more of this lets you basically go into your MetalGarurumon X faster. And the fact that if it's hidden security, you get to gain a memory. I actually had a match where my friend was using this deck, and I hit into 2 of these, and each time I passed it over to his turn, and that basically got him the game, so really sucked. So having these in combination is really powerful. And yeah, that's all the options we run for it. Then for tamers, we run. This is actually kind of a little spicy tech that my friend Sandra did. Shout out to her for giving me the spicy tech. You run 1 analog boy. Analog Boy is really cool because it lets you just basically mill out your deck a little bit so you can kind of search for what you need, and it lets you search the top 3, so really powerful. Then we run 2 Cool Boys because Cool Boy can search out a lot of our cards, just not Garuru specific. It only gets X-Antibody, but that's fine. Then we run 2 Davises to set our memory and to search again. Davis is still really powerful to this day in BT10, so, or BT9, I mean specifically, sorry. But yeah, really solid deck. In testing, I feel like this build is a little bit better, and I wanted people to kind of get a sense of where the deck has been going since the beginning, because I've been basically watching this deck as it's been topping, and I've been kind of studying how the deck has basically evolved to adapt. I know that this does not have option negation anymore, but at the same time, as long as you basically just are just kind of poking for damage, you should be fine. Most of the time you don't really have to worry about options because most of the top tier decks will not be running that many. The one that will be running the most would mostly be Mass Daemon and specifically Security Control, but you barely see those decks in tournaments anymore, which is unfortunate. But you know what? In my locals, I only have maybe like one Mass Day player and one other Reaper player basically I have to deal with. So it's not that big of a deal. You can adapt this deck, of course, but I feel like with this kind of build, you should be able to streamline it fast enough so that you can swing fast and just basically go for a game at that point. As long as their security is really bad. I remember somebody mentioning that the format kind of comes down to luck at this point, and it really does. You have to just kind of hope their security is really bad to swing in, but at the same time, this deck swings in so fast they can't really compete with that. So it's just honestly dependent on your locals. But anyway, I just wanted to get this deck profile out because I haven't really posted in 2 weeks, and I wanted people to show or to basically see what I've been working on. I've been basically like I feel like Gaiomon is already at that point where it's perfect. So I decided to go back to MetalGarurumon, and I've been just kind of working on this deck for the last like week or so. And I wanted to just show my progress, and I wanted people to have a better experience with this deck because a lot of people I know who tried this deck out said they kind of didn't like it because there have been moments where it's just inconsistent, it bricks, basically kind of like Alphamon. So people have been kind of going towards red, which I don't really like. I mean, I like red, but I feel like people usually gravitate towards Wargreymon X too much. And I feel this deck is actually better because it's more consistent. It's a little bit more powerful sometimes. Both decks, I'm not saying red is bad, but it's just that I feel like this deck has slightly more consistency because in almost every red deck I've ever played, there's always a consistency issue. So I would rather show this as well to give everybody an alternative. Uh, Unless you're a red main, that's fine. I just want to give specifically a different deck that people can use. Basically, Omnimon's other arm that other people use, and then just if people want to use his sword arm, that's fine. If somebody wants to use his gun arm, that's fine. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.